Hello once again. Welcome to Strictly Baseball right here on Radio Troy Digital Sports. We're going to talk about the EARLHAM baseball team off to a great start, 8-0 after sweeping Wittenberg as well as Wilmington here in the last couple of weeks. Now they have one last series against Kalamazoo this weekend. Then they get a chance to go to Florida and play some warm baseball here in just a few days. Head coach Steve SAKOSITS with us again this week. And I tell you what, and before we get into any specifics, it's hard to win 8 games in baseball. I don't care who you're playing, but you go 8-0 in your first 2 series, you probably could not be happier with an 8-0 record.
Obviously you want to go out there and win every game you have the chance to, but we've been able to not only win the games, but also been able to play a wide variety of guys out there, from multiple guys starting to guys coming off the bench. I mean, you go to the perfect example in the 2-1 win we have in the series finale against Wilmington. Anthony Morgan had been sitting on the bench for most of the day and got his opportunity and made the most of it. That's for right. An RBI single there to win the game. So we knew it's going to be a team effort, especially in those long weekends where you're playing 4 games, 9 innings every game. It makes it very difficult. And for our guys to stay locked in and to be able to come out of both weekends with sweeps, I would definitely say that we're very pleased to be where we're at right now.
Would you say also that you, with Anthony playing in that second game or that final game of the series and getting a chance to get the game-winning hit, that you saw really a survey of what you wanted to see out of everybody in your team?
Yeah, I mean, we've gotten all but one of our pitchers into the game so far. I think every position player has been in a game. I think only one guy hasn't gotten an at-bat yet. So we've really been trying to move guys around. When you get leads that are pretty significant, you're able to do a lot more. But in our case, we feel like there's not that much of a drop-off in a lot of our guys, that we're able to move some guys in and out. Some guys are better defensively, some guys are better offensively, and it's just trying to find that mix that when we go into conference, it'll allow us to be as successful as we are right now in conference.
8 wins. I think it's the first time in history that I know of that an EARLHAM baseball team started at 8-0. I'm pretty sure that's the case. So. You're getting national notice once again, which is always nice. That's nothing new these last couple of years. You kind of look at your baseball team, and I go back to what you lost last year. You lose so many kids, and especially on the offensive side, and yet offensively you almost didn't miss a beat. I know it was a little bit of a struggle in the final game against Wilmington, but that happens. But I just was impressed with what your offense was able to do. Yeah,
and the weekend we didn't play with Isaiah Shake. He was injured. We didn't really get much of Dre Davis. He got injured in the first game. Josh Wilson, a player who hit well in the Wilmington or the Wittenberg series, he was sick over the weekend. Danny Dopp still dealing with a little bit of an injury as well. So we haven't had some guys that we think are our significant offensive contributors in the lineup as well too for some time there. But again, it allows us to see really how deep we are. We're going to need to have, on the roster of 33 guys, we're going to need each of those players to play a role. Some are going to be starters, some are going to be guys that come in and pinch hit and play defense and relieve and whatever it may be. But we're able to kind of see some things, especially on the offensive side. I would have liked us to be able to run more on the last day against Wilmington. We just didn't get our opportunities to get on base as much. They did a great job of keeping us off balance. We hit a lot of fly balls, which is not our mantra. We need to hit the ball hard on the ground and try to drive the baseball. We didn't get a chance to do that, especially in the fourth game, but we found a way to win, and that's what you want. And honestly, playing in a close game is what you hope to have in some non-conference games as well, to be already have seen that prior to coming in some of the conference games.
Are you, let me ask you then, are you surprised? I think there's an expectation of the players you recruit to produce when they're supposed to produce. So are you surprised that you guys are hitting as well as you are right now?
Yes and no. I thought our strikeouts were pretty high in the first weekend. I thought we did a good job of avoiding the strikeout this past weekend. But it can only get better, we think.
Yeah.
I'd like to see us drive the baseball a little bit more. I'd like us to be able to run a little bit more, and that's, we have 30 stolen bases in 8 games. It's down from last year, and I mean, we want to run some more.
Yeah.
So I'd like to get more guys on the base to do that. So it's always evolving process in our offense, and we'd like to always see it be better. Is it where it needs to be yet? No, but it's in a pretty good spot right now.
Yeah, I like that when you talk about running, is because when you say 33 stolen bases so far, some teams, they don't get 33 in a year, and it's amazing. Pitching-wise, Walter had a great week. When you talk about last week, he picks up another win this week. He looks like the Walter of old. Greavy pitched well. I think your starters overall did a pretty good job.
Yeah, no, I thought all four of the starters we had, from Talcott to Greavy to Gorman to Gerbis, coming back from not a great start, his first college start, to coming back and giving us 6 strong innings. Yeah. I think all of them do a phenomenal job in keeping us there, getting us late into a game where our bullpen is strong. We can go late in the game. The thing that we did a pretty good job of, especially in our starters, our walks were down. We didn't walk very many guys. I'd like to see both Greavy and Gerbis keep their pitch counts a little bit lower than what they are, to extend them a little bit more than where they're at. But they're battling. And once we get them to be a little bit better in the strike zone and not have to throw 5 to 6 pitches per batter, and they can go 3 to 4, that makes a huge adjustment on where you're at, leaving a game in the 5th or 6th as opposed to leaving the game in the 7th or 8th. And we just like to go as deep as we can, especially now as we come up to this stretch we're going to have with Kalamazoo and then those 6 games in Florida. That's 9 games in 8 days, and we need our starters to give us some depth so that we can keep our bullpen healthy for a bunch of those games.
All right, when we come back, we'll talk about those 9 games in 8 days as the Quakers head to Florida coming up here pretty soon. And then, of course, by that time, as you mentioned to me earlier, we're about halfway through the year already. So we'll talk about that coming up in a couple of moments. This is Strictly Baseball right here on Radio Troy Digital Sports.
For the past 35 years, VanFleet Insurance has built a reputation of bringing a personal touch. That's because at VanFleet, it's all about you, your needs, your life, and our town. Along with providing quality coverage to individuals, families, and local businesses, we're proud of our community and the opportunity we have to protect your future within it. VanFleet Insurance, an Erie Insurance representative. Hometown professionals at work for you.
3 games this week. It'll be 2 coming up on Saturday, single game on Sunday. Then the Quakers will head to Florida for the 6 games, right? 6 games in Florida. Fort Pierce, Florida, if you're in that area and you want to see the Quakers play, get a chance to see them, go to the website, goerlam.com, of who they'll be playing. That many games in that few days is almost unheard of, especially in baseball. How do you get through that when you know that pitching is going to be so important?
You have to help yourself have some depth. We need some guys that are going to be able to go and give us extended starts. We're going to go 6 deep in the rotation going into next week, 3 guys against Kalamazoo, and then we'll go 3 in our first 3 games in Florida, 1 Tuesday, doubleheader Wednesday, and then we'll bring those other guys back for the Thursday, Friday games that we have for the final 3. So we think we hopefully can set ourselves up for success. We'll be able to see a lot of different guys in the mound, and see what we really have there. In college baseball, when you have to play in late February and you have to be done in early May, you got to get those games in at some point.
Yeah.
And this is just one of those stretches where we've got to take a lot of these opportunities to get these games in when we're on a spring break and we don't have to worry about class. And then when we come back, it's basically a few non-conference games and then all of our conference games.
Yeah, and the one thing you said to me is it's now like they've become professional baseball players for that amount of time, because you're right, they don't have to think about anything but baseball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, from the last time we told our kids yesterday when they finished that last class on Friday, they're like a professional baseball player.
Yeah.
We're going to have games Saturday, Sunday, and then travel down to Florida for the week and bond as a team. We're very excited for us to be able to see our team together in such a opportunity that we get to go to Florida and to be able to bond. So we're excited about that opportunity. But it's going to be definitely, it's going to be a lot of baseball. You have to love it.
Yeah.
We're hoping that we can have some success while we're down there.
I think you're going to love it. You've been to Florida before. It's not like it's, today we've got a little bit of snow and wind and all that. Just to get away from that's got to feel pretty good, though.
Absolutely.
Right?
And you look at it, it's very similar. Playing that many games and that sort of time is almost like, going from your conference championships weekend to your NCAA tournament weekend, where you have, a double elimination in both opportunities, and you're going to be playing a lot of games, a lot of arms, and kind of we'll be able to see where we're at in the middle of the season to see what we might be like at the end of the season.
Great recruiting tool, isn't it, to have a chance to go to Florida and showcase your team down there too?
Yeah, no, we didn't get an opportunity to go last year because of where the conference schedule was. Now moving it to 18 games and moving the conference season back a few weeks, it allows us to be able to go down there for spring break and get some games in. So it definitely is something that's exciting, something that we can sell on the recruiting end, but also an opportunity, as we said, for our team to really get a chance to bond together.
Hey, before I let you go, before you think about Florida, you got to think about Kalamazoo. They're 1-2 coming in. They've struggled a little bit in their first 3 games of the season, but they're going to come in here. They want to get their ship righted as well, so they'll come in ready to beat a team that's undefeated.
Yeah, no, Kalamazoo played a very good Oglethorpe team at Oglethorpe for a 3-game set. You know, they have a preseason All-American, Ryan Orr, who is a pitcher slash second baseman for them, who's very good, who's pitched against us in the past. You know, we've had some success against them. I think we've won the majority of the series that we've played here, but Coach Ott does a great job in getting those kids ready and competing in the MIAA. They were in the regional 2 years ago. You know, last year we were a conference tournament team. They're very good.
Yeah.
You know, we run up a lot against them in recruiting. A lot of good talent there. MIAA is a very good conference, and so we're excited about seeing where we're at from the first 2 weekends to go in and hopefully bring some momentum into the Kalamazoo series and then continue that on.
By the way, I won't see you next week. You'll be in Florida, so we'll have to wait till after that to talk about your Florida trip. But listen,
we might be able to Skype in. Who knows? We can see what we can figure out to do.
That,
Strictly Baseball is important, so we want to make sure we get those in.
Coach, thank you. Appreciate it as always. All right, 3 games this weekend. Kalamazoo, Saturday, Sunday. Then they head to Florida. And again, check out Earlham's website, goearlham.com, for that schedule. We'll see you next time right here on Strictly Baseball.